Hello to all you geeks and degenerates. Welcome back to another episode of our podcast. And today we are kicking off Naughty Dog Week.
Yeah.
Starting with the movie adaptation of their most popular game franchise, I would argue, which is Uncharted. The Uncharted movie starring Tom Holland, Cool, and Mark Wahlberg.
What
And
else did Naughty Dog do? Was it Crash Bandicoot or Sly Cooper?
Crash, because Insomniac's
Right.
Sly, I think.
Right. It's only Sly. Infamous people, it's Sly.
Yeah. Well, Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland. One cast member. I'm like, sure, I guess. Why not? If you're going to tell a younger version of Nathan Drake, why not? But with Mark Wahlberg, I'm like, wow.
That's too young. That is too young for my liking, and not as balding.
No, I just feel like in this one he doesn't really try to be Sully.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
Were you excited for this movie?
Dude, yeah. Cause, like, majority of the time when people are like making video game movies nowadays, like with Tomb Raider, of course they got their A-list actors, but like this is probably the first time in a long time that they had a A-list actor doing a video game movie. Correct me if I'm wrong. Has there been like besides Doom and Lara Croft Doom?
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of household names. Maybe the last big one was Assassin's Creed with Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender. Yeah. That was like that is the only selling point when it came to video game movies, is that you got a A-list actor to play as the main character. Well, the downside for Assassin's Creed is that they made a character that is non-existent in the lore.
And just bland
But-
all around.
Yeah, exactly. But with Uncharted, I knew that they were gonna do it well because Uncharted, like Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear, the old ones. Well, I'm supposed to be a Metal Gear fan here. They want to be a movie. They were trying to push it further that games can still be a way of like a theater-esque kind of deal. And Uncharted did an amazing job at it. It was like if they made an Uncharted movie, they would not have a hard time. Did they hear? Maybe. I guess they were on like medium hard mode when they were trying to make this movie. Because I will say, there were things I liked, there were things I did not like. But of course, we'll get through it throughout the video. But yes, I was excited.
I was hesitantly excited. I was like you're like, how hard can it be to do an Uncharted movie? It's
Right?
not that hard. It's like when they announced they're doing a Ghost of Tsushima movie, like, Hollywood has done that before with Tom Cruise and Seven Samurai. It's easy. Hollywood should know what they're doing by now when it comes to samurai, and they should know what they're doing by now when it comes to these treasure hunt movies. They have Indiana Jones, they have National Treasure, all that jazz. And they, of course, since Indiana Jones inspired Uncharted, it's like no shit, this should be easy. And then I saw the casting. I'm like, all right, Tom Holland. I buy. Maybe.
I get it. I get it is an A-list actor, but I really wish they got Nathan Fillion for this one.
And then I heard Mark Wahlberg is something. Like, really? Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, but the person who played Chloe, sorry for her name, I don't know everybody's names.
Sophia,
She actually did a really good job.
Sophia Ali.
Yeah, I will say she is kind of missing the femme fatale vibe of Chloe. But she did play Chloe true character. The only thing that was missing is the sexual tension between him and Drake.
Yeah. But yeah, I was hesitantly excited, and like you, I came out of this going like, there are things I like, there are things I don't like. And let's get into it. We start with arguably one of the most famous scenes of this franchise, which is him hanging out of a plane, hanging by the cargo of a plane, and him trying to get back.
Yeah.
And that was exciting to do in the Uncharted 3. I'm like, how are they gonna make it exciting or tension filled? They kind of do. I
Dude,
mean,
no, I'm not gonna disagree with you. This was actually a pretty good like scene. Like this was shot for shot. Like it felt like an Uncharted game. Like I'm watching a cutscene. Of course, I'm not playing it, but like
yeah,
him jumping from box to box, and then like him probably missing his spot and just compromising for whatever he could grab. And you see his body slaying from here to there. I was like, oh, this feels like the game. Him kicking off the guy, dodging a bullet. This was good. This is what we saw in the trailer, right?
yeah.
So this is what made me have high hopes.
And then we flash back to his younger days when he was palling around with Sam.
Oh yeah, like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Again, like they showed a younger version of Nathan Drake, and I was like, so he became somewhat young with a deeper voice, and grows up to still young but with a higher voice.
and to the movie's credit, they tried to make it more different. Because I remember I'm like watching. I'm like, this is not how I remember their meeting going down.
I'll give it this. The whole brother was this Sam and Drake Nate thing. Like I don't mind them changing it up because of course, do you really want to rewatch cutscenes from the game again?
Yeah.
Shot for shot, like for sure. Yeah, they can play around. I don't mind.
Yeah. And then they got into trouble, and then Sam's kicked out while Nathan is supposed to stay, and then he grows up to be a bartender in New York, and then at first the woman he's talking to first, I'm like, is that Elena?
I really thought it was a. I was like, ah, shit. I did like that would have been the greatest teaser
Yeah.
or like reveal that Elena's actually in this movie and the whole love triangle between Nathan Drake with Elena and Chloe. I was like, I thought they were gonna integrate it. I was like, oh, never mind. It's just a rich girl with daddy's money. And I think this is probably my first time seeing Nathan Drake pickpocket or like be a like sleight of hand taking off
Yeah.
the diamond bracelet off the girl. I was like, I don't remember seeing Nathan Drake do that in the games, but he is a thief.
Yeah. Maybe in the beginning in Uncharted 3 when he's pickpocket. He did pickpocket Sully in Uncharted 3, so there's
Okay,
that.
there we go. Okay, cool.
Speaking of Sully, that's where he meets Sully as well because he pickpockets him. And he's like, "I'm here to recruit you. Have you heard about the Avengers?" I guess.
I was gonna go the same route. I also wrote it down. You bitch. We got you a suit.
And then he says no, and then later on he steals the thing Sully stole from him.
Like, I really at the start it kind of weirded me out because there's like you just saw this kid pretty much sleight of hand this bracelet off a lady, and like that's the only thing he saw when he was trying to recruit him for the Avengers initiative. And to be honest, I was like, really? That's all you need? And now you're gonna recruit this guy like Ocean's 11? I was like, what? Why him? Like, do you have a background on him? And later on, they do explain that, oh, he does know his brother. I was like, oh, like...
Yeah. And that's how he gets him to join. It's like, hey, I know your brother Sam, and we were on this mission, and it stopped cold. But there's this auction today, and it's selling this cross. One of the crosses is Magellan, and we have to go there, and Drake agrees to it, and then they go to the auction. And that's where they bump into Antonio Banderas, Mancado, I think his name is. And then
generic rich.
yeah, I mean to be fair, he is the perfect Uncharted villain. I'm like, I buy him.
Dude, he would have been the perfect Uncharted villain until they kind of... We'll talk about it.
Yeah, and then we meet his right hand, which is Braddock, and then
To be honest, I really thought they were going with the Nadine route for this one. I thought this was like their version of Nadine.
no, it turns out not even close.
That
And then they go to the auction. I do like the scene when he's like, Sully, I need your help. And he's like, don't touch your ear, you idiot.
Yeah, you look weird. To be honest, okay. I'm pretty sure we got to the point where we already got introduced to Sully and Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
Sorry to say to the viewers who love these actors, but these two do not feel like Nathan Drake and Sully.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, same. To be fair, if you know nothing about the games, this is a very decent movie. This is a very fun.
No, I would say this is a pretty good video game movie.
I mean, yeah, pretty good. Like, I won't review my score. Like, I wouldn't mind watching this again if I didn't know the story of these characters. But since I do, I'm like, do I wanna?
To be honest, I don't mind watching this again.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is not my what I picture when I think of Nathan Drake or Sully. So there's just that.
But the thing is, the chemistry between Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. Not gonna lie, it was pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah. If there was anything else, I wouldn't mind.
That shit was funny. The one-liners are throwing back at each other. You know the game that they're in. You know they're these certain type of players. Of course, Nathan Drake is the rookie in this game.
Yeah.
Sully is already been at it for years.
Yeah.
Also, a really weird thing. They keep doing this thing where they show how good of a thief they are. That for some reason they get the item that's on a person without touching them.
Yeah, and then they do this auction, and Drake doesn't know how to cut the power, and poor Sully's just wasting money he doesn't have. And then ultimately, Nathan is distracted by this big Scotsman. And he says Scottish words, and me and him are like, what the fuck are you saying?
I love like Tom Holland's reaction. It's like, sorry? And then he just fight scenes here were great.
Yeah. I do
like holy shit, this was actually legit good. These were, I would say, Uncharted level video game style fight scene.
The one kick Drake tries to do on the one big guy.
Yeah, this guy, like, Drake tries to do like a Muay Thai teep on this one dude and just like falls back on his own weight.
And then Sully ultimately disguises himself as one of the personnel, and then he escapes, and Drake's like, oh, well, this is an awkward situation, and he escapes too, and he's like, I can't believe you're about to leave me. And then he's like, yeah, if I got caught, how could I get the cross?
Exactly. I mean, I get Sully's mindset here, but there is no chivalry, Like, there is no sense of honor between, like, amongst thieves here. Sully, if he sees a perfect opportunity to get out, and his accomplice is distracting those guards, sorry to say, he will take that opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't think Sully was like.
I mean, we meet him. Like, him and Drake are already good friends.
We're all okay. They already knew each other around one.
Yeah,
They were looking for what was it? El Dorado.
Yeah. And then they fly to Spain, and on the plane we get a cameo by Lapu Lapu. Who knew?
Oh yeah. Since the treasure that they're trying to find is Magellan's treasure.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Magellan. Yeah, I don't fucking care.
Yeah,
you didn't even sail around the world, you basic.
Like,
anyway.
Lapu Lapu. Pinoy.
Oh yeah, I was seeing Lapu Lapu, like the fucker who fucked up the Spaniards.
Yeah. And it's in Spain that they meet, as you said, perfect casting choice for Chloe Fraser, which is Sophia Ali as Chloe. Like, that's pretty good.
It is really fucking good. I like their dynamic here between Nathan Drake and her. Like, it was a bit like professional. There was no sexual tension, and I will say, what I said earlier was more of a nitpick than me deducting points from her performance or the writing. Her performance was great. Because that they just met. Of course, there's not going to be any sexual tension yet.
Yeah, there's not, that tension in what game was it? 2.
2, yeah. They already knew each other around 2.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, like, yeah, there was just a back and forth of, will they, won't they kind of deal. And I'm happy that they refrained from showing us, oh, then. They kind of teased a bit, like, oh,
Yeah, towards
that's
the
this
end,
thing.
you're like,
Maybe. But there was no kiss. There's no hug or anything like that. I was like, I like that. I like that.
and then they plan. First, she steals one of the crosses from Drake, and then they have this chase, and she's about to deadass run over Nathan, and then he's like, "Wait, just have to trust each other, work together, and we'll be fine." And then at night, Chloe's like, "Hey, Sully, you should tell Drake what happened to Sam. What really happened to Sam?" He's like, "I'll tell him later." And then,
Yeah.
if you know, you know. You're like, I wonder if it happens the same way it happens in the game. Where they're stuck in Panama, they're jumping over the prison, and then Sam gets shot. And I guess it kind of happens like that, but again, if you know, you know.
I don't think so.
You think it's
No,
different?
no, because as Nathan Drake said, like, he hasn't seen his brother in 10 years, and he pretty much just left him and gave him false promises of coming back. So all of the adventures that they've had in the game does not happen in this universe. Like, all like they were treasure hunters as they grew up. Nathan and Sam were at it for a while, and then the incident happens, and then we get to 1. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then they go to the church at night, and they're almost killed because Sully doesn't know how to read old manuscripts, apparently.
You're supposed to be good at it.
And
But
Nathan
yeah,
has a
for
fear
some
of
reason-
nuns for some reason. Like, I guess.
Yeah. I love the banter between them. He was like, "Don't you want to help us push this thing, Sully?" I was like, "Oh no, I'm looking out for the nun for your sake. She might come after you." And I'm like, "Oh." The banter between them is really, really good. You'll enjoy the dialogue here.
Yeah, yeah.
I did.
And
And I will say that is the one thing that is kind of out of character for Sully. Sully does know his, like, he knows how to read dead
Yeah.
languages. He does know how to, like, look at a history book and pretty much know everything about it. That was the only thing that was off about this character. Well, a lot of things were off about this character, but, like, this one's, like, the one that was, like, the most off. But I guess he'll learn it throughout.
yeah. And then they eventually end up in this club because they're looking for the Inferno sign, and then
Yeah.
that's once again they bump into the Scotsman.
Not gonna lie, this is the weirdest. Oh, no, we'll get to that. But like, majority of the puzzles are like so ingrained into like modern culture that it's actually kind of funny to see because like the keyhole that they have to like get to was behind a bar. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, we're not like at a ruin somewhere that's empty. It's at a bar, which is a change of pace. I don't.
And then he keeps insulting the Scotsman with drinks. He's like, "Do you want a pina colada?" He's like, "I'll fucking kill you, fucking cow." And then we'll watch our buddies, and then they escape eventually, and then they're eventually activate some water trap. That's like because there's a fountain, and Sully is also tracking them above ground, and so there's against time, and then Sully bumps into Braddock, and then it's a cool fight between him and Braddock.
That was a legit cool fight in my opinion.
Yeah.
I will say I love this mechanic that they did. The whole it wasn't showed a lot, but they kind of played around with it, where it did feel like a game. You know how you play like a co-op game where
Mhm.
one has to be at hell and one has to be in heaven. So one's at top, one's at the bottom, but you gotta find a way to communicate with each other. So while they're at it, they're trying to turn this keyhole. Sully up above has to turn the same keyhole, so they can progress forward. And I was like, this is very video gamey.
Yeah.
I like that. I like it a lot.
At first, Sully can't get through the keyhole because there's like glass, and he tries to break it with a chair.
It was at a Papa John's.
Yeah.
For of all places. I was like, what the fuck?
And I was like, "Please help me."
You heard, like, Nathan is just like, just get us out of here. Yeah, but what's even worse is that since it is a historical, what do you call it? Architecture.
Mhm.
It was behind like really thick glass,
Yeah.
so like no matter he's like throwing a chair at it, it's like it won't like break.
He even shoots it, and then he uses Braddock's body to crack it open.
I mean, have you seen that woman's back? Fuck. I guess that's why the glass broke.
And then eventually he saves them, and then they go to this place where there's like these Roman jars with like
Salt
grain,
inside.
salt, and then in it is a map, and then that's when Chloe reveals her true self, I guess, her true
Which was
intentions.
in character.
Yeah, yeah. And then she's like to Drake, like, you're good. And by the way, you should ask Sully what happened to your brother. You're too good, and she knocks him out cold. And then he comes to and he's like, what did happen to my brother? And he says, we were escaping Braddock and he was shot dead and I had to leave. Others I would have been shot. And Drake's like, oh, so you left him to die. I guess all you care about is gold.
Yeah, I mean, I get it that you'll be upset that a family member died, but at the same time, well, Braddock is a mercenary, and for sure she has a band of mercenaries. Don't you want to put two and two together? Like, would you do it for somebody you don't really know?
Right?
Yeah.
And then Mancado says, oh, I was working with Chloe all this time. The same time I
Yeah.
hired Braddock, and she is actually my right hand. So she'll take command, and Braddock. From that point, Braddock's like, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy.
Yeah, and they still like didn't resolve anything. There's like no redemption for Chloe here. There is no like, oh, she's actually just doing this for her own ulterior motive. No, she's doing it to get paid.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
entire time, this girl, until the unfortunate event that has happened to her boss, has stayed on her own, side,
Yeah.
which I really like. Like there is no, oh, I was actually a good person. So no, nobody's good in Uncharted. When you're trying to steal something, you try to steal as best as you can. Every man for themselves
Yeah, and
and woman.
yeah, yeah. And Banderas is racing against the clock because his father cut him off, and he killed his father early on in the film. So he's like, I'm on my own. And then they fly to our home country, the Philippines, and it's there that Banderas like, I will make my fortune, I will make history, and he gets his throat slit by Braddock. And for someone who had his throat slit, it's like, that's pretty clean.
That's really clean. Like I guess she didn't hit the vein.
I guess you didn't do enough damage to kill him?
I guess it was a lot. I guess it's
I mean, ultimately, like, yeah, this is, not ours, so I guess that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah, but like yeah, there's this whole evil diabolical monologue that Antonio Banderas is having, and Braddock pretty much just sits and stuff. Very weird. The thing is, like, what pisses me off is that he still was relevant to the story,
Also,
but he
like,
died in such a way that like it was not satisfactory to me.
yeah, also, like, the other members are like, our fucking paychecks have already been cleared. What the fuck just
No.
happened?
No, well, I mean, they're already en route. All they need to do is follow the map. And they had both of the crosses, I think.
Yeah,
So the thing was, they just had to kill Chloe, follow the map, do the thing, and then they get paid with or without Antonio Banderas.
I guess, but at the same time, it's like a question of stability. I'm like, if she kills her boss, what? It's not to make.
No, I
Alternate
think
guess.
that was Braddock's. Like
Hmm.
she is somewhat of a Nadine character where she has her mercenary. So I'm guessing everybody there worked for Nadine and was pretty much in on it.
Okay, okay. And then they try to get Chloe, and then at the same time, Drake and Sully are hiding in the back of a car, and they discover the map, and Sully's like, we have to get out of here with parachutes. But Nathan is like to Braddock, did you kill Sam? And she doesn't really confirm it. She just sends her guards after him, and then That's where we get where we got in the beginning him hanging off the plane because Sully already bailed, and him climbing
And
back.
yeah, and I like this mix because I like this scene because sure they showed us that scene already at the beginning where Nathan is just leaping on box upon box and he gets hit by the red Mercedes Benz. And when they showed it again, they showed that Chloe's perspective of what was happening. Why did that Benz like go out of the line and just
Yeah,
jumped out of the plane? And I like that. I like that.
and
And they
then
showed the same scene in different angles, so that
yeah,
was kind of cool.
and then they do the thing in the game where they have to grab onto the cargo and pull the parachute, and they save themselves and they land in the ocean, and then they seem like they're stranded.
I will say there's a part here that I hate. The thing I hate about this movie is the monologues, the villain monologues. Like when Braddock was like talking to Chloe and like, "Oh, fighter Tilly," and I was like, "Really? That was the best thing you could write." Really? And then
Yeah,
what Chloe does was actually pretty cool, where she detaches the box, shoots the glass of the door, and pushes it out, jumps into the car, drives the car out, hitting Nate, but that box had a parachute in it. I was
yeah,
like, that was really smart. No one would have thought of that, to be honest.
yeah, and then
Or did they do that in 3? I don't remember. I've played 3 in
well, I
10
mean,
years.
3 they were in the desert, and it was just Drake by himself.
Right, see?
Uh, and then they seem like they're stranded, and then they see that they're near a resort, and they swim to it. And who do we bump into? None other than Nolan North.
He was like, what happened to you guys? Oh, we fell off a car that fell off a plane? And he was like, oh, kind of happened to me. Like, kind of the same thing happened to me. And we were like, okay.
And then it's like
The,
not
the
like huh?
weirdest, right? The weirdest thing is, if you were born probably around early 2010s and haven't played the Uncharted games and you watch this movie, you were not gonna know who the fuck this guy was. Like, I watched it. I had a couple of friends who were like around 18, 19-ish. And I also had a couple of cousins, and they're like, I was like pointing, I was like, hey, it's him. It's Nolan North. And they're like, yeah, I watched this movie before. Like, what's he talking about? Who is he? He's the voice actor. Then you just see me like deteriorating, the wrinkles starts to show, white hair grows out. I'm like, oh my god.
And then they solve Sam's puzzle in their resort room, and then the next day Chloe leaves him, but unknowing to her, she steals the wrong coordinates, and then Drake gets the right ones. And then unfortunately, he's tracked down by Braddock, but at the same time, he's tracked down by Sully. And then they don't really have a resolve to the hey, you left my brother to die. They're just like, let's hide for a bit. I still don't like you, but let's hide. Uh, and then Braddock specifically says like, if there are holes in the ship, I'll put a hole in you. Which again, I guess they don't really give a shit about.
Oh, you kind of like skipped over a part where uh, they found the coordinates. Or no, they found the tool that would help them find where the treasure was and where the coordinates was, with the help of Sam and all the postcards that he was sending all throughout.
Yeah,
And those were just clues upon clues upon clues of like how they could actually figure shit out. And I like the choice that they did here.
yeah,
Because I thought he was what he did was he started writing down the coordinates on a piece of paper, and I was like, oh, he knows where the coordinates are. He's leaving this coordinates for Chloe. So I thought he was like, I'm gonna go now. You catch up. Nope, that ain't the case. He knew exactly who Chloe was. And like as he was sleeping, Chloe saw the coordinates on the table and just ran with it. And he was like, sorry, you're a really nice guy and I like you, but you know how it is. And he was like, Yeah, I know how it is, and he actually had like the real coordinates inside of a beer bottle. It made me laugh so hard. I was like, that was actually really good. That was a smart writing.
Yeah, he's learning, and then they hoist the ships via helicopters and so
Unrealistic, but okay.
sure, like yeah, underneath that, I was like, well, the games are pretty realistic, and that's saying something. Uh,
Yeah.
Concerning you fight like abominable snowmen in two and zombies in one, so I guess
I would say blue steroid men.
sure. Uh, and then they fight aboard the pirate ships, and I guess Braddock's men don't give a shit about her putting a bullet in them because like if you put bullets in this ship, I'll put bullets in you. And then there's one guy going ham with an AK. I'm like, I guess he doesn't care.
There was like this lady who just shot at like and missed point blank at Tom Holland, and then you just see like fucking Sully just grabbing her and tossing her overboard. I was like, oh shit. I mean, that's what you get for having shit aim.
Yeah, and eventually, Sully controls one of the helicopters, and then Drake has to uh, guard the other one, and then he has to confront the big guy. One of the other, not the Scotsman's in the helicopter, but the other
Yeah.
the guy. And then Sully does this maneuver where the ship lands in water, and Drake, in slow mo, manages to grab onto something, and the other guy hits a cliff and goes limp. I'm like, that guy's dead.
That was so Hollywood though. I did not like that. That was too Hollywood. I was like, I don't like this scene. I'm sorry. And but before that, you see Drake like he dispatches one of the mercenaries, and he takes his holster and puts it on. The theme goes on.
Yeah.
My heart sank. I was like, oh god. Every time they put the theme on, it made me tear up. Like legit, I was like, I didn't expect myself to tear up in this movie, but when I heard the theme, I was like, fuck, I need to replay all the Uncharted games again. That shit was just too good. Anyway, go on.
And then he also gets old gunpowder, which he uses for against the Scotsman. And then he shoots the Scotsman, and the Scotsman says something, I guess. While Braddock manages to swing away to the other ship, and the Scotsman crashes, and then she's able to fight Drake for a few seconds, and then uh, he gets the advantage, and he's climbing up the ropes, but Sully's gold slips out of the helicopter, and he's trying to get it at the same time,
Yeah.
and
So
she's
this
quickly
was
crawling up.
yeah. So this scene was pretty much like the character development for Sully,
Yeah,
and the this is where you see like the camaraderie grow between Sully and Nate now, where Sully pretty much just took the bag, had a decision to make, and just was like, "Hey, Braddock," pauses at Braddock and chooses Nate.
yeah,
And I was like, "All right, not bad, cheesy, but it's not bad for character development." I saw it coming, but like, well,
yeah. And then they unleash the boat too, and it falls on Braddock. Cause she
oh
like,
yeah. So Braddock like falls off and just belly flops into like the Philippine Ocean, the Philippine Sea, and not ocean. We don't own that much. And like her falling like that, I was like, I swear, I think she broke a bone. But she like swims up and just sees the ship pretty
crashing
much
onto her.
crashing onto her. I was like, wow, I guess we don't have an AD no more. I would say Braddock was actually somewhat on the nose Uncharted villain. Mercenary wanted gold for themselves instead of the rich benefactor that hired them.
Yeah, it's very much the first game where that one guy betrays the rich British dude, and then decides to take El Dorado for himself. Towards the end of the first one.
Also, kind of the same thing with 2 when your old British friend was working with the Russians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but sadly, like the Russian made it before that guy.
Yeah. And then they see Chloe come back, and she's like, bastards. I went the wrong way. And then Drake's like, well, the ship's sinking. We can get diving equipment. It's like, nah, it belongs to the Philippines. And I was like, damn right.
Yeah. Hey, that's what I said too. I was like, "You goddamn right it does." And, which is a really smart callback because we do have a museum. I think we have like the museum with the most gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have that museum here, and I was like, I don't know if that was intentional, but we do have that. It is real.
And it's implied as the start of a beautiful friendship between Sully and Nathan, and then the
And yeah, like you see Sully kind of upset because he couldn't grab anything
Hey.
from the bag, and you see Nate like, oh yeah, here, oh yeah, I got you a present. Oh, here, and he like stuffed all of his pockets. This is why you wear cargo pants. Like he stuffed all of his pockets with like gold from the bag.
Yeah, it's kind of like in 4 where Sam still has like a shit ton of old pirate coins.
Right. And like the last piece is like, here you go. And it was like Drake's favorite gum, and like I thought it was gonna be a touching moment where Sully was like, "Oh, this really means a lot to me." Because I was like, "Oh, they're friends now." He tosses it out a window.
And then there are 2 after credit scenes. One being that, surprise, surprise, Sam's alive. Just writing to Drake from prison. I don't know who the actor is, or I have no guesses who they want to get. If they get Troy Baker, that'd be funny.
He does look like him,
Yeah.
just minus the balding, receding hairline. Sorry.
And then Drake is in a bar and somewhere, and he's trying to get this Nazi map, which leads to that U-boat in the middle of the jungle in the first one.
Oh. So yeah, I was like, wait, I don't remember anything about that season. Right, there was a German U-boat in the middle of the Amazon
Yeah.
when they were looking for El Dorado. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then Sully appears and he has the iconic mustache, and then they try to escape, they turn around, and it's implied they're arrested or something like that.
Yeah. Calling it right now. They're gonna get arrested. Drake is gonna be put into. I know it's not in chronological order as the games, but he's gonna be put in prison, and that's where he meets his brother, and then we're gonna have that prison shootout scene where
Sure.
his brother got shot. But I think it's gonna end in a different way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say, when I saw Sully with the stash, I was like, not there yet. I'm not there yet.
So, I forgot to mention the beginning of the movie. There's a sweet PlayStation, like all the characters. I'm like, oh, cool, it's Jin Sakai and Joel and Ellie and Kratos.
Kratos, you see older. I don't know if Spyro was there. Sly Cooper, probably Ratchet and Clank were also there. Crash Bandicoot, probably. I don't know, but like PlayStation exclusive characters. I was like, that's
And
actually a
then-
really cool. And of course, Nathan Drake.
Yeah, and then it says PlayStation Studios. I'm like, this could be promising, I guess.
Right. I that flew over my head. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna make movies now.
Yeah.
Dude, think of the animated movies with Sly Cooper.
I
like
never really
Ratchet
got
and Clank.
into Sly. I was more of Crash.
Yeah, there's that. But like Sly Cooper has more of like a diverse
Yeah.
or like pretty big world. But
Yeah.
the furries will like it.
I guess.
I will say there was a negative that I would actually give up to this movie is that the ending was a little bit of a lackluster in Uncharted standards. To Uncharted standards. Cause yeah, they revealed the two boats of Magellan. Fuck you, Magellan. And that's it. Just the two boats. When in the games, for sure they're gonna build up to it. I really hope they do. If the studio's watching, please do. But when in the games, when you reach the final level where you reach the treasure, you're taken to Shambhala, you're taken to El Dorado, you're taken to this large pirate city that was hidden from the world. Like you'll see like a giant elephant statue while inside it is a waterfall. I'm like, I want to see that more than just two ships.
I guess that's fine because like the first one didn't really end that spectacular. It did end with, like zombies and like this curse, but
Yeah,
that's about it.
yeah. No, actually, they did show a lost city. They showed that though, didn't they?
No, it was just a curse. It was just
Oh, right, right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Forgot about that.
yeah,
I don't know. I just kind of want more of like
yeah. I
that,
mean, I know
like
what you
where
mean.
we see a grand spectacle of like this was way bigger than we thought,
Yeah.
kind of deal. What did they find in 3 by the way?
What the fuck was 3 again? I
Yeah,
forgot.
it's the most forgetful one.
Yeah, it's not bad by all means, but like I can't remember. Uh, I need to revisit it sometime
Yeah,
soon.
it's the castle from Aladdin.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, what would you rate this movie?
Not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun with this movie. This is probably one of the good video game movies that we've had in a while. I don't know what else was a pretty good video game movie.
Detective Pikachu.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Like there we go. Like I would say I'll put this over Detective Pikachu. I had more fun with this one, and sure, some characters didn't feel the same. Sometimes the story wasn't there, like really Uncharted level kind of story. But nice callbacks. I love the Indiana Jones reference with like nuns. Why did it have to be nuns?
It's
And
like
like,
that's weird. Like, the problems are nuns. What? I guess try
yeah,
to
he
look
was in an
trauma.
orphanage, man. He was in an
That's
orphanage.
fine, but like, sure.
Man, nuns are pretty strict. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, like they didn't show it. There's like, no, Drake, you can't do that anymore. Like, that's fine. I guess
Yeah,
I get that you're strict.
but I do like the callbacks. I do like the story that was being told. The casting was a little bit off, but that's pretty much it. Ending lackluster. Would I say this is a really good Uncharted movie? No. But would I say this is a pretty fun action movie? And if you don't know anything about it, about the Uncharted games, I say you would have fun. So I'm giving this one 7, a solid 7.
Um, I would say if you are familiar, you might give this like a 5 or
Okay,
like
yeah.
4. But like, it's decent. Like, I enjoyed my time. The cast was awesome, especially Mark Wahlberg. I'm like, yeah, no matter how hard I close my eyes, I'm like, yeah, you're not Sully.
Yeah. But as a movie, though, they were really good.
Yeah. As for this movie, on its own, if I didn't know he was based on like a video game character, he's good. Uh,
For some reason, Nathan Drake has a Boston accent a little bit.
uh, Chloe is perfectly casted. The action is good. Uh, it's just that the games are just have had become after one had become so cinematic and so epic, and it's like this kind of beats what some Hollywood movies are doing right now. The fact that this movie doesn't really do that, except maybe the plane. It's like,
We need more spectacle. Like,
yeah.
Uncharted games were just such a spectacle.
I mean,
Like,
the last game I played was 4, and that had like a
was
scene
the
where,
last game.
yeah, where, well, the last game was Lost Legacy, but like where you're uh, escaping and there's rockets being shot at you and the city's crumbling and you have to escape. Like, that's cinematic. That's like, holy shit, I'm playing a movie. Here I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in like some weird reboot of the series. It's not that
Yeah.
spectacular. So that's all. I'll land on 6. It's a good start. It's a good start.
It's a good start. Just like I wouldn't mind them making a sequel. I
Yeah.
would like to see them make a sequel and probably make it better. You could change up the story, just make it cohesive, continuity correct, and like story better. Just make it better.
If it starts with Nathan Drake bleeding out in a train hanging by in the Alps, I would love that.
Yes, I'm gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you. It was like, what scene would you want to see them recreate in the Uncharted movies? And I'm like, that was my topic. Was the train scene? I was like, yes.
Or since they're going to bring in Sam soon, I want the motorcycle sequence when they're shooting at the armored vehicle and it flips over a barrier.
That is the one thing that they were missing, is that you being chased by an armored vehicle or a truck through a narrow corridor or a hallway or alleyway.
But before we end, what upcoming video game movie project are you most excited for? I would think you say Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes. Last of Us, yeah, I'm excited, but it's just that, like, it left a really bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah,
I'm
and
like, okay, if it's really good, then it's really good. But the one I really want to see is... Are they getting Daisuke Tuji to...
no word on that.
Because he is Jin Sakai, and he looks exactly like... Well, he is Jin Sakai. But I really hope they get him for... to play as Jin Sakai. But
Yeah.
if not, and it has to be aesthetic. Like, aesthetic as fuck. It has to be pretty... Best lighting in the world. It has to look like your name, but in real life.
Amazon is making a God of War series, and I am excited for that.
Yeah. And Halo, they already made a series and it's finished, and hopefully we could do a review on it. Are we doing a review on it?
Let's see what happens. Also, what else? Amazon's doing Fallout with Walton Goggins, who's
That sounds great.
yeah.
Main character or two?
Just the player.
Main character.
He's Vault Boy, just a weird smiling idiot. Like, okay.
I like that.
I can't think of anything else. I heard Life is Strange is getting an adaptation, though I know nothing about it, so sure.
Same here. I'm like, am I excited for it? Maybe, but people did say it's really good. The game. Alright. So
Yeah.
I'm like, alright.
But yeah, that's been a review for Uncharted, the movie. What do you guys think of it? What are you hoping for in the future? Please comment down below. Also, you can find us at facebook.com/geeksanddegenerates. We react to creators. We stream video games. We stream over their lives too. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. As our individual selves, you can find me at Yandalphus1995 on IG and Twitter. I fucked up somewhere along the line. I know. You go next.
You can find me at JumpGOM on Instagram. That is my own.
And please remember to wear a mask, social distance, and get vaccinated if you can. Get your booster for fuck's sake already. And that is all the time we have, folks. And this Uncharted week, not Uncharted week, Naughty Dog week is looking pretty exciting. Wouldn't you say, John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to revisit all of the Uncharted games again once we start talking about
Yeah.
that.
And we might have
Spoiler
a guest for
alert.
that. Yeah. But yeah,
Right.
that's all the time we have for now, folks. We'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Yeah.